How are you all? Lovely to see you. Lovely, lovely, lovely to see you. Or as, what's that guy's name? Nice to see you nice. I don't remember what his name is, but how are you? Welcome to day one. I'm really excited to do this with you. I'm also really flipping hot. I always get super hot before and during live streams. Hi Lily, how are you? How are you? All right. Hi Sophie, welcome. So great to have you here. Sophie, I know you've invited a bunch of people as well, so thank you for doing that. I'm really excited to make a difference to them and to all of you. Very, very, very excited to do this with you. Here's the thing, we're in a really unique and slightly crazy time right now, and selling effectively and selling with integrity is one of the most important things that's going to help us all get through. Okay, so that's why I created this challenge. I created this challenge because selling, and specifically selling with integrity, is pretty much the number one skill that you need to keep your business afloat during this time, and ideally to grow your business during this time. Yeah. So before we jump in, I would love to know a little bit more about you. Some of you are in my mastermind, have already worked with me. We've got a few of my private clients in here, but just share, both from me and the others in the group, where are you at? What is your business? And what are you hoping to get from this 5-day challenge? Hi Bex, how are you? Lovely to have you here. So, where are you at? What kind of business do you have? And what are you hoping to get from this challenge? And then we'll jump in. We will jump in. Let me know. I know sometimes there's a little bit of a time lag. Hi Susie, welcome. Susie says, in the process of creating new offerings, conscious content creation and consultancy. Yes. Third question, what are you hoping to get from this 5-day challenge? What are you hoping to get from this 5-day challenge? So, where are you at right now? What type of business do you have? What are you hoping to get from this 5-day challenge? Andrea, welcome Andrea. Let me know if I'm saying your name correctly. Coach, still new, need to get enrollment call down. Cool, great. That's going to be one of the things we're going to cover. Ruth, starting out with paying coaching clients, hoping to get ideas and support for moving forward. Perfect. Now, for those of you who are coaches, please do share. And if you don't have a niche yet, that's okay. If you have a niche, please also let me know your niche, because that's helpful for me to know as well. And Susie says, confidence in designing these new offerings and the mindset to share them without becoming an annoying salesperson. I love that. I love that so much. That is definitely a core goal of mine with this training this week. And specifically today's training is to really help unlock your understanding of what sales is and isn't, and to kind of blitz any baggage that you might have around sales and around like fear of being that annoying salesperson, fear of being fear of irritating people, fear of alienating people, fear of inconveniencing people, any of that kind of stuff, to, you know, make some significant progress in blitzing some of that stuff today. Now, just in terms of logistics, today is day 1, as you know. We're doing 5 days. The trainings are at the same time each day. So the trainings are at 2:15 p.m. London time, which I'm pretty sure, I always have to count on my fingers. 9. 2:15 p.m. London time, 9:15 a.m. Eastern time, and same time each day, so you don't have to worry about the translating. And on the final day, I will be sharing an opportunity to work on this kind of stuff with me further, but I won't be sharing until then. And whether or not you want to go on that journey with me, you will find standalone value in this 5-day experience anyway. One of the things that I think is really important in terms of selling with integrity is when you say you're going to deliver something, like you say you're going to deliver training, you deliver training. One of my biggest bugbears is when people say that they're going to deliver a training that has standalone value and there's just a pitch all the way through and there's actually very, very little meat. It's sort of all pitch and virtually no meat. I think that has absolutely no integrity, and that is disrespectful, I think, and deceitful. I'm just going to say it. All right, just plug myself in. So it's absolutely possible to have a thriving business without engaging in those kind of shenanigans, be it, you know, NLP style manipulation, or saying that you're going to deliver stuff to people and then not delivering it, only delivering very surface level value, and just making it all about the upsell. Those things are not necessary, those things are not obligatory, and those things, I think what a lot of people who engage in sales tactics that don't have integrity don't realise is that actually those kind of behaviours, for really smart switched on buyers and consumers, it turns them off, and you can lose a customer for life when you engage in those kind of behaviours. Where if you don't engage in those kind of behaviours and you're fully transparent about things, for example, I'm fully transparent that an initial call with me is a call with standalone value, and that if it's a fit, towards the end of the call, I will share what I recommend in terms of next steps, whether those next steps are with me or whether I'm recommending that they take next steps with someone else or do a different program, that will follow once they have actually received standalone value and once I have, you know, a very clear picture of where they're at. So and I make it very clear, you know, you will come away from this call with 2 to 3 key takeaways that you can implement in your business immediately to what's the wording I used, to move you and your business forward. 2 to 3 key nuggets that during the call that will move you and your business forward. So, you know, if I then jumped into that call and, you know, was just immediately like, here's why I'm amazing, people would have every right to be frustrated, right? So like I said, one of the things that we're going to cover is how to really nail that initial conversation, whether you're a coach, whether you're a consultant, whether you have whether you're a lawyer, a marketer, whatever it is, how to engage in that first conversation in a way that has real integrity is so important to the work that we're going to be doing this week. So I'm just going to go through the rest of your comments. Nail their sales and nail their marketing for over a decade. I still had so much fear stuff come up around selling and around marketing in my own business, and really, sorry, who knows what happened, said poor signal. Should be fine now. I've got super fast fiber, so it should be fine. So as I was saying, had all this stuff come up around like fear of sales, fear of marketing that had never ever come up before when I was helping others to market and sell their businesses or market and sell their offerings. Cleared that all out the way, and now I absolutely love, and it's been the same for 3 years, I absolutely love marketing my business. I absolutely love selling. I feel this deep sense of alignment and ease and flow with sales and marketing, and that's what I want for all of you as well, because it makes such a difference when there's not this piece or this part of your business that you're dreading or feeling awkward about or feeling icky about or feeling guilt or shame or any kind of baggage around. It just means that you can do a better job of delivering the value that you're here to deliver, and you can help more people, because the more effective you are in a sales conversation, the more people will say yes, therefore the more people you're going to help, and then that ripple effect is going to get bigger and bigger and more profound, right? Whereas it doesn't matter actually how good you are at what you do. If you're not good at the sales piece, it's going to really hold your business back. There are so many people who are incredible at what they do but bad at sales, and they will go bust. And I don't want that for any of you. I don't want your businesses to go bust. I don't want your businesses to not take off. I want you to have sustainable businesses that are here to stay, right? Your businesses may evolve over time. You may tweak them over time. You may get more and more specific. You may get more and more niche in your offerings. That's a very natural process that happens for a lot of service-based business owners. But I want you to be in a place where it is financially sustainable for you, and nailing sales is integral to that. So Lily says, at the very early stages of sales, coaching/therapy business, how to successfully sell services so people cannot resist signing up, and in a way that feels authentic and ethical. Love it. Sophie says, hello Andrea, so nice. Hello everyone, hi all. Keeps pausing, froze. I've lost you, me too. Okay, I think that was from when it froze before. It shouldn't freeze again. And Sophie says, yes, I want that too. Amazing. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do today is we're going to talk about what sales is and isn't, what it really is and isn't, and also the difference between selling with integrity and selling without integrity, so that you can know this both for yourself, and you can kind of have this barometer in the background when you're thinking about what you're saying, how you're being, what you're doing in any aspect of sales, but also so that when you're engaging with other businesses, you can also have that barometer there, and you can know very quickly and with absolute certainty when someone is engaging and selling without integrity. And you can do one of two things, right? You might choose that either that experience is still valuable, so you might choose to stay, but you may potentially, if the offering is something that you really want and you do trust them, you may notice that there's elements of their selling that isn't in integrity, but you may actually sign up for their services anyway, right? That's entirely possible. But my goal really, as part of this conversation, is helping you to spot when someone else is not selling with integrity, so you can make an informed decision. So if you're saying yes, you are clear why you're saying yes, and you're consciously saying yes in spite of any lack of integrity that you're noticing, or if the lack of integrity is a non-negotiable for you, that you're saying no. Because one of the things that I think is really important for your own happiness, your own success, your own sense of internal alignment, is knowing that you're only saying yes to that which is in alignment, and you are saying no to anything that isn't in alignment. When you are buying offerings that are not a match for you, or where you don't feel safe, or where you don't feel that you can trust the person or trust the company, those things add up, and they create an energy drain, and they create sadness, and they create disappointment, and they create other low vibration emotions that we just don't really want to have in your space, because then when they're in your space, they're then in your interactions with your own customers and with your own clients. And we don't want that. We want your energy to be clean and clear, to be as clean and as clear as possible. That doesn't mean your energy is going to be perfect every single minute of every day. It doesn't mean you're never going to have any baggage, any fears, any limiting beliefs, right? We're all human beings, so stuff can come up sometimes, but we want your energy and your interactions to be as clean and as clear as possible, and making that basically your supply chain, making your supply chain have as much integrity as possible is just as important as bringing your own integrity into your own sales conversations with your own customers and clients. Yeah, does that make sense? Because it's all very well having integrity with your clients, but if there isn't integrity further up the funnel, what will happen is that will seep down. Yeah, so I've had mentors, for example, coaches in the past, where they have been being coached or being mentored by someone who has a distinct lack of integrity, and with the best of intentions in the world, that has seeped down into how they are with their customers and their clients, i.e. including me, and it's just become, you know, a kind of, it's tainted the space. It's like a black drop of ink in beautiful clear water. It just darkens and muddies the water, and when you get to a certain level of discernment, you just find it, you know, you're not necessarily feeling any judgment towards that, but you are feeling this sense of that's a no for me, and then you extract yourself. Yeah, so we don't want that to happen to you, and we don't want that to ripple down and happen to your clients as well. Okay, so what sales really is and isn't. Sales is a relationship building, and it is a connection activity. Okay, sales is a relationship building and a connection activity. Sales is not the process of acquiring money, right? When you sell well, when you sell effectively, when you connect and build relationships effectively, and by the way, this doesn't always have to be building a relationship one-to-one. You can be building a relationship with your audience through your public-facing content. You can be building a relationship with an audience through a podcast interview. You can be building a relationship with an audience through standing up on a stage, right? You don't always have to be building a relationship with a person one-to-one in an in-person or phone interaction, okay? When you build relationships and when you create connection effectively and organically, that individual signing up to pay you money for something is a consequence of that. Do you see the difference there? The money is a consequence. The exchange of money is not the process in and of itself. The process is the building of the relationship, it's the building of the connection, and the outcome is actually money. So one of the things that I want you to understand about sales is to take the goal of sales being the financial outcome out of it and bring it back to the true essence of sales, which is the relationship building and the connection building. Now, one of the impacts of doing this, I have a challenge with connecting with people that I don't know. Don't worry. You should see a significant shift in that before the end of the week. One of the outcomes of that is that, sorry, I just lost my trail of thought. 1 second. So one of the outcomes of when we appreciate sales for what it really is, which is the relationship building and the connecting, you can totally invite someone. If you know someone who would love to be in the group, you can invite them. Just go to the top of the group and click on invite, or send them the link. totally fine. So when we come back to that, we are coming back to the truth of the relationship. We're coming back to the truth of the interaction. We're coming back to the truth of the process of sales. Yeah. And that creates a really, really beautiful sense of alignment for you. And it also takes a lot of that attachment to outcomes, you know, the attachment to, well, this is worthwhile, this is a worthwhile activity or a worthwhile conversation or a worthwhile investment of time or of energy if someone transfers money to my bank account. Yeah, it takes that out of it, because actually what truly dictates whether a sales activity is effective is it deepening connection? Is it deepening the relationship between you and your ideal clients? Because if it is, then the money will follow. And one of the interesting things that I really want all of you to understand and integrate and assimilate is that when you do that well, it actually doesn't matter whether the money arrives in your account that day, whether someone signs up for an offering that day, or whether it's the next week, or whether it's the next month, or in some cases, whether it's the next year. Sometimes I've had people come back to me, I think the longest time is like 3 years later, 3 years after having an initial conversation about coaching. They've come back and they've gone, yep, I'm ready, let's go. Yeah. When we recognize that the accomplishment is not in whether the money arrives immediately, the accomplishment is whether that relationship building, that connection building is taking place effectively, it makes sales a lot more fun. And you know what? For women especially, we're very relationship oriented. And so when we are coming back to sales as something that's building relationships, that's way more authentic to our natural intentions, because we're naturally more inclined to want to build relationships than to engage in a transactional behavior, i.e. simply receiving money. Okay? So we want to understand that the outcome of receiving money is an inevitability if we are building a relationship and building connection effectively, and we're also articulating our offering well, but we are able to be unattached from that outcome of the money coming in. Now that might sound paradoxical, yeah? And there's some people out there who will say, you know, it's all about the money, you need to be, you know, always pushing for the sale. And if you don't make a sale, it's a waste of time. And, you know, hound people until they either get back to you or you find out that they're dead. I think that's one of the things that Grant Cardone says. And actually, that's just not true. When we come to a sales conversation from a place of being committed to building that relationship, committed to creating connection, but not attached to the sale, we are actually more magnetic. We are more magnetic and we are more likely to close the sale. When that other person, be it somebody reading a post that we've written, be it someone listening to us talk on stage, be it us having a one-to-one enrollment conversation with someone, or a consultation or a discovery call, whatever you call it within your business, you will be instantly more magnetic when you are committed to that, and you are clearly committed to that, rather than being committed to the cash arriving. Yeah. Does that mean that you shouldn't have financial goals? No. Does that mean that there isn't value in money tracking? No. I have a money tracking spreadsheet, which I'll share in the group, which I created for the Aligned Business Mastermind. And, I really encourage you to track your income and set income goals. Set monthly, annual, weekly, and if it feels good to you, daily sales goals. To me, daily sales goals don't feel good to me, but weekly, absolutely do. Monthly, absolutely do. Annual, absolutely do. Okay? So those things are still valuable, but it's just we're coming at sales conversations from a very different place when we're like, yeah, of course, the numbers get to happen as a function of this other stuff. Yeah. Andrea says, articulate the offering is where I struggle. Okay, cool. So we may do some work on that as well this week. Look at how specifically you are talking about your offering and how you might be able to optimize that, because it is very, very, very important. If people are not clear on the tangible outcomes of your offering, they're not going to buy, even if they love your energy, even if they can feel that you're committed to building the relationship, that you're committed to understanding them, versus simply trying to get them to hand over their card details. They will still say no if they're not clear on what the benefits of the offering are. So I just want to make that really, really clear. In fact, let's jump into it now. I'm just looking at the clock. Let's jump into it now. I want you, each of you, to let me know in 2 sentences or less, what is your primary offering and what are the 2 most important benefits of that offering? What's your primary offering? What are the 2 most important benefits of that offering? Okay, so I'll give you an example, right? The Selling with Integrity 5-day challenge is a challenge designed to help you to feel enormously more confident and in flow around selling, and as a result, to make more sales in your business now. Okay, let me know, what is your key offering? And this should be the offering that you're most focused on right now, and that is going to most support you in meeting your goals right now. The one that you're most likely to offer people when you talk to them. And in 2 sentences or less, what's the benefit of that offering? Just let me know in the comments, and I'm happy to come back and review those for you. All right. Now, I also want to share with you today as well the number one thing that's really, really important to make sure that you do before any sales conversation to avoid wasting your time and avoid wasting other people's time, okay? And that thing is, if you are engaging in any sales calls, i.e., like I said, consultations, discovery calls, initial calls, an initial free session, like I said, a consultation, whatever you call it, you have to make sure that you are clear where the person is at, what they want to accomplish, and this is the most important one of all, what their approximate budget is for your services. Okay? Have to make sure where they're at, what they want to accomplish, what their budget is for your services. Now, that does a few things. Number one, it means that you're not ending up getting on the phone with someone who doesn't know what they want, because you can't really help someone who doesn't know what they want. Okay? Second piece is, or you can help them, but you're going to get a lot less traction and headway with someone like that. Unless, of course, you're something like a life purpose coach and you help people who are very confused and uncertain work out exactly what they want, then that might be perfect for you. But unless that's your offering, they're probably not going to be the best fit. Number two, it helps them in their own mind to clarify what it is they want before they even talk to you, so that, again, you're not wasting time on the call working out what it is that they want or what their goals are. They already know that beforehand. Even if they need to sit and have a think about it, even if they need to sit and reflect, if that is a prerequisite of booking a call with you, and the system that I recommend is Calendly, Calendly. That is the system that I use for, that's how people book calls with me. And you can put questions in there. You have to do the paid version, I think, if you've got more than 3 questions, but it's well worth doing. And it's not particularly expensive either. So that's the most important thing to do to make sure that you're not wasting your time or anyone else's. And the budget one is important because sometimes people will lie, right? If they're on the phone with you and, you know, they're feeling, for whatever reason, plugged into scarcity, or they're feeling stingy, or, you know, you haven't explained the offering properly or in a tangible enough way, they may just automatically say, that's too expensive, or I can't afford that. And that's actually not the truth. Now, you have to bear in mind, when people tell you, when they say, yes, please, I want that, or no, thanks, I don't think that's for me, given half a chance, people will not give you the real reason, especially British people, because they are not such direct communicators. They don't want to offend you. They've got all that kind of communication stuff going on in the background. Most people, not all people. So you want to know ahead of time what their budget is, so that if they say no, you know that it's not because of the budget, you know it's for another reason, and you can explore that reason. Yeah? So that reason might be, you know, they may have ordinarily, if they hadn't completed the budget question, they may have ordinarily said, I can't afford it, but actually the reason was, I'm not quite feeling like you're the best person to support me on this, or, you know, I'm not quite feeling like you really understand me, or whatever else. And so if you have established that based on someone's goals, based on where they're at, based on the connection that you've built during an initial conversation, that it's going to be a great fit to work together. And by the way, that's the only time that you should be offering anything to them. You should not be offering anything to someone unless you know for sure that you can help them based on what they've said. Yeah? Even when you do that, by the way, there will be some people who are absolutely confident you can help them, and it emerges later that you can't. And how you deal with that is up to you, whether you refund them, however you want to deal with it, that's a separate conversation. But you should only be offering someone something if you know for sure that it's the right fit for them. If it's not the right fit for them, you want to either recommend something else, either someone else's services, maybe some kind of training that you've done in the past, or another service provider. And that is integral to the integrity of your business and to your brand credibility. If you're trying to take on customers or take on clients who are not a fit for you, in the long term, it's going to damage your brand credibility, and it's going to cause you way more hassle than it's worth. People who are not the right fit, customers who are not the right fit, clients who are not the right fit, it's just not worth it, okay? It's a waste of time for everyone. So that's a really important piece in selling with integrity, is knowing and practicing that it's safe for you to turn people away. And that's the reason why for some people it is aligned for them to continue doing another job initially whilst they're gaining traction in their business, so that they have the income coming in to pay their bills, so that then if they encounter someone who's not the right fit, they're not in that position where they're thinking, oh, it's not the right fit, but I need to get them in because I need to pay the bills. Yeah. So Susie says, apologies, I dropped out. Please, can you repeat the 2-liner question? So the 2-liner question was, what is your core offering? And in 2 sentences or less, what's the benefit of that offering in really tangible terms? And I'm going to reply to Andrea. So Andrea said, helping women discover their worth by identifying the root cause of their struggle. Now, I love what you're up to there, Andrea. That is way too fluffy. It's way too fluffy. You need to make it tangible, okay? So women don't really care about discovering their worth. What they care about is, what does discovering their worth make available to them? So for example, it might be that once a woman discovers her worth, she's able to command her worth in her career. Or maybe what you're committed to is women discovering their worth in order for them to attract the relationship of their dreams. What you're really selling and what you're really offering to them isn't them discovering their worth. What you're really offering to them is you're helping them to attract the relationship of their dreams, or you're helping them to earn their worth in their careers. Yeah. And this is really interesting, is as women, we're actually more likely to go into the like nitty gritty of the what we do, like the identifying the root cause of their struggle. Again, at the point at which someone's buying your services, they don't care that you're going to help them identify the root cause of their struggle. What they care about is that tangible outcome of the relationship of their dreams or commanding their worth in their career. So we want to reposition that, so we're not talking about it from the kind of technical behind the scenes, the what they get once they've bought that helps them get that ultimate outcome, but we're actually talking about it in terms of that tangible outcome up front and off the bat, so that they can go, oh yeah, Andrea's going to help me to have the relationship of my dreams, or Andrea's going to help me command my worth in my career, Andrea's going to help me get that first 6-figure job, or whatever it is. Yeah, I hope that helps, and hopefully that created some openings for others of you as well. Beck says, primary offering at the moment, dynamic leadership model that elevates you and your team through my proven 3C method, gaining clarity, strengthening confidence, and mastering communication. Amazing. And Bex is one of my private clients, so we've done some juicy work on that. Fantastic. Yeah, as you can see, super tangible. She makes it sound very scientific, and so on. Sophie says, I help women find their purpose in work and life. Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's still a little bit fluffy. What's the actual outcome that a woman receives when a woman finds her purpose in work and in life? What's the actual outcome that she gets? Is it, I help women find their purpose in work and life so they can become who they were born to be? Is it, I help women find their purpose in work and life so they can have a life that feels even more amazing on the inside than it looks on the outside? Is it, I help women find their purpose in work and life so they can feel truly alive for the first time? Is it, I help women find their purpose in work and life so that they can feel alive, ignited, on fire, and succeed, like achieve the success that they didn't even know was possible? See what I mean? What's the tangible outcome? And it would be great if you think about some of the tangible outcomes that your current clients have benefited from as a result of working with you, you'll notice some themes there. What are the tangible outcomes that you notice? What happens to them when they find their purpose? What happens to them? What unfolds within them? Yeah? We want to really nail that. Let me know if that helps. And if there's anything else, like a refined version of that you want to share. Same for you, Andrea. Just let me know in the comments. This is so... I'm honestly like, there are tingles in my fingers. And I genuinely could cry. Because it is so important to me to help women who are amazing at what they do to actually talk about what they do in a way that makes it easy for their ideal clients to say yes. Because to me, it is an absolute travesty when you're amazing at what you do and you do it with integrity and you're so passionate about it and your heart is so in it, is an absolute travesty to me for you to be in a situation where people aren't saying yes just because of this small piece. Because it really is, it's a small piece. Nailing and articulating the tangible value that your offerings provide is actually a small piece of the puzzle. But if it's not nailed, people will say no. Ruth says, I help women connect to their true self in doing what they love so that opportunities open up to them for success in relevant areas of their life. Too vague. It's too vague. And it's a bit too long as well. It's too vague and a bit too long. So, I mean, something like I help women become their most authentic selves so that they can live the life they were born to live. Or I help women become their most authentic selves so that they can stop pretending and start living. Or so that they can stop people pleasing and start living. What is it when you talk to your ideal clients and you have conversations with your ideal customers, Ruth? What are the things that come up in that initial conversation? And again, same question as with Sophie and Andrea. What are some of the most common things that they say while they're working with you or at the end of working with you? What are the most common outcomes that they report? Because also the more that you can, and again, that's assuming that you've been working with ideal clients, which you may not have been. If you haven't necessarily been nailing the tangible benefits of your offering, you may have been attracting non-ideal clients. So it may be quite irrelevant what they say, but if you know that you have been attracting and working with ideal clients, what they have to say, the more that you can make your marketing language and the language that you're using when you're talking about your offerings and your packages, the more you can have that mirror their language, how they talk about their challenges, how they talk about their goals, the easier it's going to be to attract them. Again, let me know if that helps. Andrea says, help women command their worth in careers and relationships so they can live peaceful, purposeful lives. I love that. That is so much better. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, how does that feel for you, Andrea? Beautiful. Really good. Ruth says, yes, people pleasing or afraid to show up with their real talents. Yeah, I was feeling that for your ideal clients. I was feeling that the people pleasing and like afraid to use their real talent. So I would say, Andrea, I help women sorry, not Andrea, we already did Andrea's, Ruth. I would say I help women connect to their authentic selves so they can stop people pleasing and hiding their gifts and depriving the world from their gifts, and step into the lives that they were born to live. That's what I would say for you. Whew, fire. And Sophie says the feedback is gaining confidence and clarity in the direction of their career and life. So then I would say I help women gain confidence and clarity in the direction of their career and life. I would literally say that. That's beautiful. And you've got the alliteration there as well. Yeah, really beautiful. Susie, I support you to create conscious content so that your message and stories reach your intended audience with impact. Nailed it. And Susie and I have done work on this one-to-one as well, just so some of you know that it doesn't necessarily happen by magic. So to be clear, we don't always know that not knowing our worth affects all these areas. Not knowing they're enough. I'm writing a book about more than enough. Amazing. That's great. Fantastic. And books are a great thing to do to elevate your authority. And again, books are a really great way to build that relationship, to build connection, as well as to build authority with your ideal clients. So then when they approach you, they already feel connected to you. They already feel that that relationship has been nurtured, even if they've never spoken to you. Yay! Amazing! This was so fun. Does anyone have any questions or anything else that you want to get my feedback on? And also, I would love to hear if you have any big takeaways from today. Let me know any big takeaways. I'll share a couple of other things to watch out for as well, okay? When it comes to, to be honest, I'm less concerned with any of you engaging in this kind of stuff. I'm more concerned with you being hyper vigilant about it, so that, like I said earlier, you're avoiding getting into a toxic supply chain. And so that is anywhere that someone is making you feel inadequate, like being very pragmatic about your weaknesses, or being very pragmatic about what you're struggling with, or being very pragmatic about something that's not working in relation to their services, right? If you're having an initial conversation with someone, for example, be it they've just spoken on stage and you know you're standing there waiting to talk to them, and you know you're having a conversation with them there, you know, naturally they would ask you, so how are things, you know, and they might say what's working and what's not working. They might ask you that question. Yeah, that's totally natural and a great thing to do. Okay. But if that happens and then someone is really like ramping up the pain and they're saying, oh, that's terrible, and you know that must be really hard for you, and you know if you don't sign up to this program then you are not going to make progress on this issue. If you don't sign up to this program, you know, I'm really worried about you. If you don't sign up to this program, I really think things are going to get worse for you. You know, you must do this program. It's essential that you do this program. You must sign up immediately. Give me your card. And they're kind of sidestepping that actually you're a human being with free will, and that you're a human being who knows, and whose higher self knows what is right for you. I would be running away fast, because, and we will cover this in tomorrow's training, they may well have like a weird codependency thing going on, where they actually want to cultivate codependency with you. They want you to become dependent on them. They want you to look to them for your fix. They want you to become addicted to them. They want you to see them as the solution. They want you to see them as the hero or the savior, and that kind of shit is just nasty. And unfortunately, it's incredibly pervasive in the personal development industry. Incredibly pervasive. And there's a lot of people with savior and hero complexes versus you know, coming at this from a place of, you know, you are an amazing human being and you have some things that aren't working right now, and if you would like to, you know, achieve this thing that relates to the thing that I specialize in, here's how we might do that. What do you think? Would you like to do it? And exuding that sense of trust and faith and confidence in your ideal clients, then you know, it's quite important to run for the hills, because often when someone's really forcing or pushing the sale overly in that initial conversation, it's actually because they know that their offering isn't that great, and so they kind of know that they need to push and they need to get you hooked there and then, or they might lose you forever. Whereas someone who's coming from actually being deeply grounded in how brilliant their services or their offerings are, they'll just be so rooted in that and so grounded in that that they know they don't need to chase, because they just know it's brilliant. And then you can feel that, right? So healthy, whole and healed people tend to not respond to that kind of stuff, but there are always exceptions, and you could be having a bad day, or you could be feeling vulnerable, or you could be feeling upset, or you could be feeling a bit lost, and in those moments you might be more vulnerable to being sucked in by that kind of behavior, and it's really very unhealthy. And so you're all saying it's very helpful. I'm so glad. Susie says my intention is now so clear. Thank you, huge gratitude. Love that it's possible to get this clarity through this process with you in the group. Yay! You're so welcome. Andrew says codependency, yes. Sophie says, question, I've been told to get the client to sign up and pay on the discovery call. What's your process, Jaimie? I have absolutely no issue getting a client to sign up and pay on the discovery call. I've had many clients sign up and pay on the discovery calls. And, you know, either, so setting up something like Square Up, or setting up something like, is it something? Yeah, Sum Up. Sorry. Setting up something like Square, or setting up something like Sum Up, and having a card reader where, let me show you because I've got one here. I don't really use it, to be very honest. Oh, where is it? One second. Oh, here it is. So, with one of these, so you can buy these online. Most sort of stationery shops as well as Amazon will have them. You can enter the card details here. You enter the amount and you can take the payment like this. I tend to take payment via PayPal, and so when someone says, when we have an amazing conversation and I'm clear that I can help them and that my process is the best fit for what they need right now and where they're at with their mindset, etc., and that the investment is aligned for them as well, I will send them a PayPal link immediately and they will pay via PayPal. And most people will do that straight away. Some people will do it within a few hours. But I personally, it's very, very rare that someone would say, yep, I'm in, and then disappear. If that happens, and that did used to happen to me, it's generally because there was something missing. Like, they weren't connected enough to the tangible outcomes of your offerings, or they weren't connected enough to you, or they felt that you maybe didn't understand them quite enough, or maybe you were talking too much and not hearing them. By the way, creating space in an initial conversation is incredibly important. Yeah, so your job in the initial conversation is not to prove yourself and talk as much as possible. Listening and creating space and pausing is incredibly, incredibly important, and just as valuable as whatever you share when you are talking. Okay, they're both important. So if there's an imbalance there, if there's like you did share juicy stuff but they felt like you weren't listening, they may disappear even if they've said yes initially. If they have freaked out about the investment and, you know, the investment was too much for them, but they felt nervous about telling you, which again, if you have that question before the call of what their budget is, you can avoid situations like that, because you will only offer them what is a match for that budget. And they'll let you know if they're like, if the budget, if they want the next thing up but it's going to be a stretch for them, then they can let you know, like, well, actually, you know, I know that your group thing is a match for my budget, but if we were to do like a one-to-one thing, what would that look like? I want to see if I can make it work. They might say something like that. So all these things, those initial questions that you ask people before that first conversation, and how you navigate that initial conversation are going to determine whether someone's going to disappear or not. If you've nailed those things, even if you're sending someone a PayPal link, I recommend for all of you, if you haven't yet, set up a paypal.me link. That means that you can text someone or you can WhatsApp someone. I recommend using WhatsApp. You can WhatsApp someone a paypal.me link. So it'd be like, so mine is paypal.me/definitely /97 GBP or /97 USD. You can use that link for any amount and any currency. You send them that link and they make that payment. And as long as you've nailed the other piece of the conversation, even if they take a few hours or 24 hours to pay, they will pay. Because they're invested and they're excited. So there's a trust piece there. I think sometimes when people are obsessed with taking the payment on the phone, is because they don't trust the potential client. And having that trust and seeing your client as actually a perfectly capable, smart, intelligent, proactive person who is committed to getting what they want in the area that your offerings relate to is very, very important. And people can feel when you have that trust, and again, it just makes you more magnetic to them. So my thoughts are, there's nothing wrong with taking the payment on the phone, but there's also nothing wrong with trusting, with sending a link, letting them know what the deadline is, i.e. if you have scheduled your first session, which I do recommend doing, scheduling your first session if it's one-to-one work before that you let them know, hey, you know, the payment needs to be cleared 48 hours beforehand. Okay. Hopefully that is helpful. TransferWise, my only comment with TransferWise, Sophie, is TransferWise is a little bit complicated because they do have to log in to the bank, and so anything where they can just click and pay immediately or enter their card details, people are gonna do it much faster and much more reliably. And even if they do have nervousness come up around the investment, they're more likely to just do it because it's easier for most people, unless they have Starling, which I have Starling, and it's super easy to pay on Starling. They may take longer to pay and they may be less likely to complete it. So just bear in mind that with things like bank transfers, there's nothing wrong with requesting payment via bank transfer, but anytime you're requiring a more complicated process for them, they may potentially drop off. So I personally love PayPal because everyone's got PayPal. Most people have their PayPal password saved on their phone or on their laptop. So it's a super quick login. They don't even have to grab their card because their card is generally saved on their PayPal account. They also know that they're protected because PayPal protects both the supplier and the customer in case of a dispute, and so there's that extra sense of security. So I know for me, if I use PayPal, people will pay me faster, they have more confidence, they feel safer, and all that jazz. So even though there's fees, even though the fees are a bit higher and certainly higher than receiving a bank transfer, that's what I recommend for most situations, but not all. So when Sophie says when someone has the money conversation, I've been told it's their stuff coming up because then they have to commit to what they want to work on. Let's continue that conversation because I'm mindful of time, but we will talk about the money stuff and money objections on a different day. All right, any final feedback on today? I would love to see your feedback. Also bear in mind, if you leave positive feedback, then I can screenshot it and share it with other people who may be able to benefit from this experience, which is super, super valuable. So if there's any feedback that you are willing to share, that you're happy for me to screenshot and share, please leave it below so that more people can benefit from this training and from this group. Again, really, really excited to be here with you all, really excited to make a difference to you this week, really grateful to have been able to make a difference to your businesses today. And any questions, let me know. All right, lots of love. See you tomorrow, same time tomorrow. Bye.